G'day viewers, the end of another week means it's time once more for Totally Fucked Up Friday. Possibly the easiest video in the world to make because it's so easy to find evidence that the world really is totally fucked up. And of course, I have you people, or at least some of you people, helping me a lot. I always call out on Twitter and Facebook, hey, send me links, what's a totally fucked up story? And someone like my Twitter friend from Virginia, Woo I'm Wild, if that is his real name, sent me a link about Australia. I love it when people send me links about Australia. Saying, what the fuck is it with Australia? And this was about a record drug haul, $500,000 worth of ice and heroin. He's going, what the fuck is going on down there? I went, this is Wednesday, dude. Shit like that happens on Wednesdays. I didn't even know that had happened. That's how not news that is here. But you know, and of course everyone's been sending me the thing that they think is most totally fucked up about the Olympics. And there's so much to choose from. There's some ridiculous shit being going on. The Wi-Fi police were new to me. I knew they had brand police threatening people with £20,000 fines if they were suggesting anything about the Olympics without having paid for the rights. But there's only one telecom company, BT, providing Wi-Fi in the Olympic venues. And the charges, I mean, I think it's basically sign over your firstborn child to get on the Wi-Fi. And there are people with Wi-Fi scanners actually showing, if you've got your own personal Wi-Fi device, they fucking shut you down. It's insane. But I've been trying to ignore it. Like I've said in other videos, I was kind of fascinated by the female low division weightlifters, half my size, but could lift me over my head. Freaky. But other people in my family have been watching the Olympics from time to time. It's been on in the background, and it was on while I was researching for this video. And the most totally fucked up thing that happened is the assholes from the commercial TV channel. And I have the pay cable network at my place, and I'd only been watching the Olympics to avoid the fuckheads from the commercial free-to-air channel, which everyone in Australia agrees their coverage has been shit, fucking awful, jingoistic, parochial, and fucked, with Eddie fucking Maguire, which is not going to make much sense to people outside Australia, but the vast majority of Australia are going to go, oh, Eddie fucking Maguire! And he's on my fucking TV. I didn't know they were sharing the feed. I specifically don't want him on my TV. I want to buy a TV that automatically shuts itself down if Eddie Maguire comes on, because when he came on, oh God, I want to throw something at the TV. Not because what they're saying about sport, because they weren't talking about sport. There's like a million sports going on, and they're not talking about it. They're rabbiting on about fucking athletes using Twitter and Facebook. Oh, I shouldn't do that. Gets them into trouble. It'll still be there in 30 years. Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Fucking old people talking about young... You don't know what you're talking about. You're not offering wisdom. You're just reinforcing that you're a clueless fucking moron. All I could think of was, oh, in 30 years, you'll be dead! And that's good! Oh, shut the fuck up and get off my TV! But I don't want to talk about the Olympics. I don't. But look, and importantly, I want to share some links down here. Often I'm bringing up around the world horrible fucking government initiatives to censor the internet or surveil the internet or fuck up the internet. And people will say, oh, what can I do? And I always suggest, well, find a lobby group like Electronic Frontiers, support them. But there's some links down here. A big one in the US is still being debated. I think it's being called the Cyber Security Act. And it's basically giving the government carte blanche to monitor everything. And I mean everything. Without warrants, right? Your phone, your email, your web browser, your search history, anything that tracks you with GPS, like your phone or a GPS in a car. Okay, there's a lot of evidence they're doing it anyway, but this is just saying legally, like, you know what, we're sick of pretending, fuck it, you've got no rights. But there's links down here telling you how to sort of tell Americans, your Congress people, etc., don't fucking do this, okay? And it surprised me that it worked with things like SOPA, and people are now actors being shot down in most countries as well, because they just keep coming back. And so we're just going to have to keep going. And people saying, why are you so worried about America? Because as goes America, so goes the rest of the world. Not least because American foreign policy has this tendency to force itself on the rest of the world. So, if the Americans can keep a lid on things, there's a tiny possibility that the rest of the world can sort of continue to function as well. So, yes, there's a practical link down below to send things saying, hey, you don't do this. And also, I found a fun article of people running for election who have actively opposed things like SOPA, and they actively support things like internet freedom. And it's worth considering, if you're American, with the upcoming elections, some people have actually bothered to speak out, because it's not exactly a mainstream position in either of the main parties. The party line for both of them is pretty much, ooh, internet's full of bad people and terrorists and child molesters, got to be down on that. So, find some good people and support them. I don't want to be negative all the time. As much as it's fun, find some good people and support them, you know. But speaking of negative and bad people I haven't had a go at for a while, Scientology. Wow, you know, I've had a few rants about Scientology in the past. I've had some first-hand experience with doing their personality test, which is scary as fuck. Don't do it. Don't do it, because when I read through the questions, I was going, they're just trying to pick out my psychological weaknesses, and then they'll know how to exploit me. Creepy motherfuckers. And if you were vulnerable at all, they'll find it and they'll fucking exploit it, and they will lie. Oh, and a brief side note, fucking atheists who go, Scientology, it's no more dumb than Christianity or Islam or Jihad. Yes, it fucking is! There's a fundamental fucking difference in that it was deliberately created as a complete and utter fraud, and the people in charge know they're lying, and they know they're just exploiting people. Shut the fuck up, okay? Atheists who want to go, it's all the same. No, you are not acting wise and insightful when you say that. You are part of the fucking problem. You might as well be a fucking Scientologist if you say they're no worse than the mainstream religions. They're not a religion. They're a fucking mind control cult, okay? And read this article that is linked to below from the Village Voice. I discovered something new. Scientologists actually had still have, according to some reports, a concentration camp. It's like they call it the hole for people within Scientology, particularly in the higher ranks, who have transgressed the unwritten law and got on the bad side of the boss. You're thrown into the fucking hole, and there's torture. It is so seriously, I can't even do it justice. Read the article if you think Scientology's not a problem. They're fucking essentially kidnapping people, sometimes for days, for weeks, sometimes for years, and keeping them incarcerated and fucking torturing them, okay? So, let's just be clear, Scientology, not a religion, just a totally fucked up mind control cult. Oh my god! And speaking about, you know, scary mind control, I want to finish up, look, AZ's not here, and look, that's partly because he's not particularly well, but partly because when I broke this story to him, he just went into a catatonic sort of coma. It was too much. When he heard this, he said, no, they can't do that. They can't do that. In Britain, they are prosecuting people for fisting. Which reminds me, you know, it's like a throwback to one of my most popular videos. Your parents have probably talked to you about fisting. Now I'm going to have to link. There'll be a link. It's a really popular video where I talk about sex education. You want that, don't you? You want sex education from me. But, yeah, there's been prosecutions in England for extreme pornography. And it was, the link where I got the information was from a queer news blog. And as they point out, the acts that are being prosecuted are more likely to appear in queer porn than straight porn. And they feel that they are being persecuted, as in it's more likely than instead of a man and a woman getting up to shenanigans, like, oh look, he's fisting another guy's butt. That's gross. Look, I wrote this down. I want the actual wording. Because what they're prosecuting, the extreme porn, which is defined as being grossly offensive or disgusting, to who? That's always what I want to know. Like, if it's grossly offensive or disgusting to someone, rather than prosecuting people who enjoy it, maybe those people who find it grossly offensive or disgusting just don't look at it. It's a thought. I'm putting it out there. It's a thought. You know, that's one way to deal with it. But then the extreme stuff, and this is where they're prosecuting fisting, is an act that's likely to result in serious injury to a person's anus, breast, or genitals. That troubles me in a lot of ways. Not least is putting into a law, oh, we want to prosecute something that we think is likely to cause. Okay, but I'm pretty sure the practitioners will tell you, no, okay, this is a consensual act and we have particular techniques, so there isn't damage. But and to have these people, that's their thing, and then to have someone saying, well, we don't like your thing and we don't care that it's not hurting you. We can envisage that it could hurt someone, so therefore we're going to just wholesale say it's illegal and we're going to prosecute you. And also the wording reminded me of a few years ago I was working in a job. Here's a little bit of a side note. In Victoria, prostitution is legal. It's regulated by city councils rather than being a criminal thing that's managed by the police. If someone breaks the law, the police still get involved, but it's managed by government bureaucrats, not the police. And I've seen the regulations for prostitution. I'm sorry, it gets funny. When a public servant has to go into meticulous detail on what sex act is legal and what isn't, and they have to go into really graphic detail, but they're using public servant speak, it just gets funny. And the wording of that British law, look, I'm not saying all British lawmakers are really twisted and into perverse sexual practices that they then want to inflict weird shit on us, but there's a pretty good track record of it, okay? And when you start, and there's so much evidence for this around the world, when you go out of your way to infringe on other people's sexuality, it seems to say far more about you than the person that you're trying to infringe on. Like, another wacky link. If you're in, I've got heaps of links today. There's one on the Breitbart blog. Some Fruit Loop who thinks a Skittles ad is actively promoting bestiality. Now, you could have said it was a silly ad. It's like these girls basically snogging a walrus. You know, it's supposed to be silly. It's supposed to be attention-getting and memorable. But this person, and I couldn't quite work out if he was taking the piss or if he's got a serious mental illness and this is a cry for help, but he seems quite serious in what he's saying, this is real. Hollywood is actively trying to make kids fuck animals. That's what this ad's all about. Like, no, okay? That's what we call a Freudian slip. You think you're saying one thing, but what you're doing is telling me and everyone far more about you than anyone wants to know.